So, yesterday, my nephew texted me and he said he got his first job, right? And I'm super happy and proud of him, right? Because it's not easy at that age to get your first job, right? Get your foot in the door of the working world, right? So, here's a few tips and advice I have for him and anyone that might be like going through the same situation as him right now, right? So, bam, you're in college, you've managed to secure your first job, right? Congratulations, hats off to you, because you're ahead of a lot of people, you don't realize it, right? So now what you need to understand is this: a couple of tools to help you progress faster, right? So you've got your first job, right? You know your times which you're going to be working and times which you're going to be studying, right? You need to have your timetable set out so you know where you're meant to be at what time, right? And discipline is what's going to make or break you, right? Going forward as a man, as a woman, whoever, right? Growing up, discipline is what's going to make or break you, right? So you have to know, I'm going to show up no matter what. I'm going to show up at this time every day. I'm going to get up even when I don't feel like it. I'm going to go, right? That's one thing that you have to master, right? Because that discipline is going to transfer to other things in your life, more fun things, more beneficial things to you personally, right? So you must accumulate that discipline experience from this scenario, right? Number 2, you must pack your own lunch, right? Make your own food at home. If you still living with your parents, ask that when shopping is done, there's enough that you can make your own sandwiches, a pack of crisps, a drink or two, a snack, yeah? And have that ready-made every day, right? I would suggest making your lunch, your breakfast and lunch, right? 2 days in advance, right? So today you make your food for tomorrow and the day after, right? 48 hours is the best amount of time you can keep your food fresh in the fridge, right? Keep that in mind, yeah? So make your own lunch, make your own snacks and that, and have them with you, right? You're gonna save a lot of money, right? And of course you might feel a bit weird, like when your colleagues are going out to lunch and they're spunking their money on Starbucks and Pret and all kinds of weird shit, right? Just spunking their paycheck willy-nilly, right? Because these people, they don't understand how the game works yet, right? So yeah, you're gonna feel a bit of pressure to go out to lunch. I'm not saying you have to not ever go out to lunch with your friends, right? But don't get in the habit of spending your hard-earned money on food, right? Because you're only getting paid a certain amount per hour, right? So what you'll find at that age, your wages aren't really that great, right? So if you're only getting paid a certain amount and lunch at this place costs you an hour or 2 hours of your time at work, it's not really worth it, is it? You don't need to work to eat. Like, you don't need to work 2 hours to be able to eat something that's not going to fuel you for 2 hours. Do you understand? It doesn't make sense, yeah? So keep that in mind. Pack your lunch, pack your food, and bring it with you. You save a lot of money in life that way, right? You accumulate better discipline and you can be healthier because of the choices that you've picked too, right? So there's that, you can meet your fitness goals if that's something you're interested in. You can meet your health markers, right? So we got discipline, be there on time, yeah? Make sure you wake up every day and go. And then you got packing your lunch, right? And making sure you save money on food, right? The next thing I would recommend, yeah? For the first 2 to 3 months, right? Me personally, I'd say 6, but not everyone is ready for the commitment of 6 months, right? Do not spend any of your paycheck on anything but travel and food, right? And when I just told you food, don't spend it on eating out. Spend it on packed lunch food, right? Food that you can cook at home, right? Transport and food for the first 3 months. No clothes, no going out, no cinemas, no trainers, nothing. No games, nothing, right? And it's for a good reason, right? Because this is going to give you your first stepping stone in the financial world, right? You're going to get your first baseline. You're going to be able to have a small emergency fund, right? For when things pop up. You're going to have a decent amount of savings so you can do things that you actually want to do, right? Because I know what you're thinking right now. yeah, I get paid such and such at the end of the month or at the end of the week, right? And that's enough to do this. But you see, the problem is when you have more money in the bank, you can do better things. You can buy better things, right? You don't have to settle for this short-term thing that you're going to do now with 1 month's pay or 1 week's pay. You don't have to. You can go 3 steps beyond that, right? So for the first 3 months, 3 to 6 months, don't spend any of your money on anything but transport and food, right? And you'll be laughing because you'll see that money start to roll up, right? Build up. And of course, if you're living at home with your parents, you're even more lucky, right? You probably may not have bills. You might have a phone bill or something, right? But keep that shit in check. Don't get out no credit cards yet. Don't get out no phones, contracts, PlayStation stuff. None of that. Don't even pay for PlayStation Plus, bro. Forget all of that for now. So, what you might want to do, depending on your situation, is break off your parents 10% of what you're making, right? Just to keep them happy. They might ask you for more, they might not, right? Some parents won't ask you at all, right? And a good parent would take that money and put it into an account for you for when they're ready to give it to you and help you, right? That's what a good parent would do, right? But that aside, right? Break off your parents a little piece of that money that you're saving, right? So, what do we say? We got discipline, pack lunch, then discipline with your finances, not spending anything for 3 months, yeah? 3 to 6 months, right? So you've done that now, right? You're patterning up. First, another note, a side note, you're gonna notice on your first paycheck, on your first couple of paychecks, you have tax, right? And you're gonna be like, what? I worked this amount of hours, why am I getting this amount of money? Aha! Now welcome to the real world, right? The tax man needs his cut, right? The government need their cut too. But here's a tip for you. Make sure when you get your, I don't know, it won't be a P45 or P60, whatever it is you get, right? It's one of those forms. You look at it and you check your tax code, right? And make sure your tax code is correct. Because if your tax code is wrong, you'll be paying more tax than you're supposed to, right? And that will be garnishing your check all the time, right? So if you have been paying more than you're supposed to, check that you've got the right tax code. Ring HR revenues, right? Don't be afraid. They're not gonna hurt you. They're gonna help you, right? And just tell them you've been paying the wrong amount of tax. This is the right tax code, and they will refund what you've overpaid on your next paycheck, right? So don't worry about that. But just keep that in mind. Every month, your paycheck will be garnished by your tax man, right? And it's essential you understand that. That's another reason why you should save, right? Depending on the type of job you're doing, you may have to be self-employed, or like if you're a brickie or someone like that in a trade, chances are your pay stub is coming as a self-employed pay stub, right? So you need to save, right? Make sure what's coming in is recorded for, accounted for, and move an amount of it to a different account to pay your taxes at the end of the year, beginning of the year, the tax year that is. Pay that, make sure that's sorted out and separate, right? Don't fuck up with the taxes, right? Make sure your taxes are paid, right? So there's that now, right? You got your money in that, saving up, you're eating your packed lunches, you're showing up every day, you're building up discipline, right? Now, well done, right? You're 6 months in, you've got experience, you know how shit goes in the job, right? You're going to be dealing with all kinds of potential job politics, office politics. Now, what I would advise you is this. Never get in any relationships with people at work. I mean, like, what's the right word for it? Just outside of cordial friendship, right? Don't get too deep in friendships, and definitely don't have any sexual relationships with your work colleagues, right? It's bad for business, yeah? Don't do it, right? Try to avoid, I can't tell you what to do, but at your age, try to avoid drinking, try to avoid taking drugs, right? And stay on the straight and narrow path, because you'll be laughing later on, right? Avoid those traps, right? And avoid getting in that cycle with your colleagues, right? Don't gossip, do the work you're supposed to do, and don't get abused or misused, and like they have you running around doing more work than you're supposed to, right? Know when to say no, right? Don't let them take the piss out of you because you're young and it's your first job, because that is what they're going to want to do, right? They're going to want to force you into coming in when you're not meant to be in. They're going to want to force you into taking on more tasks than you're supposed to do. Know when to say no, right? They might argue with you, they might look at you like a problem, but at least they're going to have to respect your position, right? If they want to fire you, sack you, fine, right? Remember, there's millions of jobs out here in the world, so don't feel bad about losing one, right? It's not a loss, it's an opportunity for another one, right? So like I was saying, well done, you're 3 to 6 months into your first job. Congratulations, right? Now what have you accumulated? You've accumulated experience, right? And you know how hard it was for you to get your first job because you didn't have experience? Definitely, right? Now you see the problem. Because you've accumulated experience now, you've got something to add to your CV, right? So make sure your CV is up to date, spot on, and start applying for the next job that you want to go to, right? Do not feel bad, do not feel any kind of loyalty to your boss, to your colleagues, to the company, right? Because at the end of the day, you're there to sell time, right? They're not your friends, right? They're not doing you a favor. You're helping the business, and the business is compensating you for your efforts, right? So don't feel bad about moving on. That's what it's all about, right? Just like money is currency, water flows like money flows, right? So keep moving, keep the money moving, and keep yourself moving, right? And you work up your experience, you work in different jobs and arenas, and you'll find what you like eventually and suits you, right? But don't stop there, right? Because you've been saving, because you've been smart, right? Because you've been learning each business that you've been in, you now have enough finances saved up, capital, to potentially start your own business or put money into your own ideas, right? So don't stop in the working man's world, progress into the entrepreneurship's world, right? Now you don't have to give up your job to start any business. You don't have to give up your job to put money into your own hobbies and ideas, right? You can do them on the side, right? Because what you want to know and what you want to achieve as you progress in life and in financial standing is getting multiple streams of income, right? So you want to have your work that you do, right? Then you want to have your residual work that you do once, and you keep getting paid from it, from royalties or what have you, if you're creative, right? Then you want to have your automated work, something that you do and it just works automatically, like an online shop, drop shipping, stuff like that, right? There's a variety of ways to have multiple income streams, but it's essential if you want to be successful in life that you have multiple income streams, right? You cannot depend on one job, right? Because you will be let down, and you've already safeguarded yourself from being left in the lurch by losing your job because you saved your first 3 to 6 months of paychecks. You see how it all comes into play, right? So if you lose a job, you won't be sad, you won't be upset and financially in the gutter because you saved, right? You're a smart kid, right? So understand that, right? It's a lot to take in what I've said so far, but if you can't get to the level I'm talking about now that I've just stopped at, right, just make sure you focus on them first 3, right? Discipline building, right? Make sure you're there, make sure you do what you say you're going to do, you've got your schedule and you stick to it, right? 2, discipline with your lunch, right, and your food, what you eat, when you eat, how you eat, right? And 3, discipline with your savings, right? Making sure you're saving the right amount of money and you're not messing up on your taxes, right? Do those 3 things at the minimum, right, and you'll be all right, and then you can progress. You start to learn how to make your money work for you, right? That's another reason you want to save. You have a nice bit, a nice chunk of capital there to invest when the time is right, right? Because you're young and you'll get the most benefit from compound interest now, right? If you start now, you'll be laughing when you're an old man. Matter of fact, you'll be laughing when you're 30, right? So there we go. I'll leave you there for now, but congratulations on getting your first job. It's only the first step of many, right? Where you start is not where you finish. Life is what you make it, right? So know what you're doing, be smart with your money, be smart with your time and discipline, and you will win.